everybody, thanks for joining me. We have something to talk about today. Something that just, I feel the information needs to get out there. These Milani Keep It Full Glossy Plumping Balms. These are not a cheap lip product. They're those click up products where you twist them up at the bottom. Everything that clicks up is pretty much going to transfer down on your lips. They're going to give some color. That's what we really got to talk about. The amount of color varies, but a lot of shine and kind of a thick, really moisturizing feel on your lips. And I had purchased one of these months ago, just one shade, and then more recently I got sent the full range of them in PR. And I kind of settled with the fact that, okay, I guess these are just kind of a sheer lip product. The shade I happened to get, the one called Moi, the one I bought, it didn't do a lot. It did a tiny bit color-wise. It did feel good, but once I got sent the rest, I was like, wow, this is really all over the place. There are some that give a really decent amount of color and then like half the line doesn't. They're all just kind of shiny. And the fact that these retail for $15.99 at Ulta and it's not a product you're going to be testing out ahead of time, I think you should know what you're getting into with these. The texture is absolutely beautiful. Like, I love the way they feel. I'm really getting into certain shades. But like I said, there's also half the line that just does not show up color-wise, even though they all are given a specific color. So we got 10 of them. I'm going to focus on these sheer ones first. And what seems like the lightest one in the line is called Ballet. Okay, so again, you got your cap, you got your click up. You're going to give it several clicks until you see part of that stick kind of come up past the tube. And that's all going to transfer down on your lips. It's going to feel very buttery, rich. You're going to feel like you've got a lot of moisture. Like, these are probably some of the more moisturizing ones I've tried, even considering Tarte. Like, they're really rich. But look at that. You know, it's not giving much of anything except a ton of moisture. That's the shade called Ballet. And the reason why they need to be designed this way, if the product's going to be so soft and transfer down completely on your lips like that, it needs to be hugged all the way up by a stick. You know what I mean? I get why products of this type, where it's like a solid, almost moving into a creamy, glossy state, it's got to be packaged that way. I'm going to wipe this off. The feel is great. I was just so surprised that so many of them were so sheer. Here's the next shade. So you might think, if you see them in a lineup, okay, this is maybe a little more colorful than the last one. This is called Ribbon. Click her up a few times. And to get a sense of the color, you really do need to make sure you're getting enough on your lips. You can't just get a tiny bit. You got to make sure a good amount is transferring down. But even so, you know, this is very light. It's offering maybe just a tiny tinge of tint to my lips. Kind of pretty, but just don't expect a lot. Then we're getting into the shade called Moi, and it would appear to be deeper yet than those couple. This was the one I purchased. Giving a little color. It's very soft. This is what I might call my lips, but better though. Giving a little more than the last two. Then we've got a shade that looks kind of like toasty caramely nude, and this is called Honey. I'm going to click that up a few times and go across the lips. And I don't get why this one looks so clear. Like, I don't know if that's showing up. Hello, ladies. Oh, they're all jazzed up because they're going to get registered for school today and find out who their teachers are. So.
Mommy, when are you going to be done?
Well, it's not open yet.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, I feel like Honey is doing hardly anything, and the depth level of the stick kind of makes you think, well, shouldn't it be doing more? I just want you to know what you're getting into. And then there's this shade called Hazel, and I thought, well, that should show a good amount, right? And it shows not a lot, just a tiny bit. Yes, I'm getting enough on my lips. You can see the shine from the product. Like, I just don't know what people are expecting. The stick looks like this. It looks this dark. And then the color just looks like a slight step up from clear. So these are your sheerest ones on the lips. Of them all, I would say Moi is maybe giving the most on your lips in terms of color, but just don't expect a lot. Again, I love the feel. I love the feel. And it's not really a criticism that they chose to make half the line pretty sheer. I'm simply saying it's something you should know about going in. Now we got these shades, and these shades I think are giving a lot. There's this color called Spice. It looks not that far from the last shade I put on called Hazel, if not even maybe a little lighter than Hazel was, but this will show some color. Let's show you. I feel like I'm getting more out of that one, like a color I can really see. Then we've got Truffle. Truffle looks like a straight up brown. You might think it's gonna be the darkest one in the whole lineup. It's not necessarily the darkest. But it's giving a lot. Like when you put it on, if you want that brownish lip, but you want a high shine brownish lip, I think this is really pretty. I actually like a shiny brown because brown can just sometimes be a dull looking color on the face. But the thickness, the richness of the moisture, it's really good. And it's hard for me to say like, oh, I'd pay $15.99 for a drugstore lip product, but these are nice. I just think you need to know what you're getting. Okay, then we got Chili. This is the one I've really been into most lately. Like, look at this shade. I've been wanting to wear this all the time. This is your summer strawberry lip. Check this out. It's so pretty, but it's like an approachable red. Look how nice that is. I love this shade so much. And it's just that color. We're not working in an additional lip liner or something. And that can be the saving grace of some of those lighter ones. If you end up with something lighter and you're like, how do I make this work? You know, layer up a lip liner underneath and then let this be your kind of glossy top coat. And the moisture hangs around a decently long time. So this is what you've seen so far of the bolder ones. We did Spice, which was kind of like gentle warmth. We had Truffle, which was your shiny brown. We had Chili, which is that approachable red. And then we're going to go into Bisou, which is, it looks like a deeper or brighter, bolder red in the stick. And on the lips, you can tell. It's still very soft and approachable, but it's almost like a little cooler red or a little touch toward berry, maybe, more so than the shade Chili, okay? And then this last shade is called Lana, and it definitely looks like the darkest tube. Where the other one we're like, oh, it's a little more toward berry, but it's very reddish still. This one feels very truly berry, and it's giving a lot of color. As you see the stick, you might think like this is going to be something like Black Honey. It's like Black Honey, but majorly stepped up in shine, in pigment, like really beautiful shade. So again, I just really feel like this is a line that's split half and half. The experience you're going to have with some of them is a much more bold, distinctive color. You can see colors that set themselves apart from one another. And then half of the line is very like, yes, it's all for sure going to be shiny, but just a tinge of color one way or a little bit another direction. But these are very, very sheer. You're not going to choose one of the soft pinks and really truly get a soft pink, except for the shade Moi is a little bit like your lips, but better. But these are like buddies in being clear. So yeah, that's my takeaway. I'm not saying they're not worth it because I think they're actually a fantastic lip product and perhaps the most juicy, rich, thick, and moisturizing of its kind. Like even considering different high-end ones that I have. I think the M Cosmetics lip cushions, they offer a lot more pigment, but they're not quite this rich feeling. Even the Tarte ones, I don't feel like quite lay down this level of richness. I've tried some Tarte ones that end up being very sheer too, but these just feel intensely hydrating, and there's like 5 that really, really came to play. A couple of my top ones, I mean, gosh, I'm really liking this shade that I have on now. That one's called Lana, but Chili is great for that soft red lip, and I'm loving Truffle because I enjoy a brownish lip, but that one gives such a radiant shine. And another thing, the ones that offer color, the color really doesn't look streaky, even though these are so moisturizing and you feel like there's a lot of richness there. It's not like it ends up streaky on your lips. So I appreciate that. And also, I can be one who gets a little bit annoyed by the feeling of a ton of thickness on my lips. For example, if I get too much of a Fenty gloss bomb or a Maybelline lifter gloss on my lips, I feel like I want to wipe some off or blot some off. You know, if I get that full amount off the doe foot, it seems like too much. I'm almost always going sparingly with it, going off the side, trying to get a little less. But somehow these, even though it's thick and it's honestly richer than those glosses I mentioned, just in terms of the density of the moisture on your lips, like it's really, there's really something going on. I find them comfortable. I don't find them annoying. I want them to stay on there. It's not going to be a product that's in it for all day long wear. Like once you eat a meal or if you're drinking your water all day, it's gonna wear down, yes. But if you're not really doing too much messing with it, it adheres better than a lot of shiny things, I will say that. And even with one blot, let's take this most serious color and give it one blot. there's still something left behind there, you know? So I just wanted to inform you on those products. I find it interesting that the line is kind of split, but there wouldn't be any designation really when you're out in the stores wondering about it. It'd be hard to tell. You wouldn't be able to crack these open and test them. So I'm here to test them for you. Thank you guys so much for taking time to watch, and I'll see you again soon. I love you. Bye. Oh, and I meant to tell you guys what's on my face. I left it all sitting out here so I would remember to say it, but I'm wearing Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. I actually have a ton of Wet n Wild on my face today. The Incognito Concealer, this is in the shade Light, and the Incognito is in the shade Light Beige. Okay, so really beautiful coverage from a couple of the drugstore's lowest cost things. I use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Powder in the soft pink shade. I did a little bit of my e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder Filter in Light Neutral, just a slight bit all over, but not tons. What Shady Beaches is my bronzer from Wet n Wild. I've got on Mellow Wine Blush from Wet n Wild. Always a classic. Like, I love the way those come together. I can't find my Wet n Wild highlighter for some reason. The Precious Petals one, or just, you know, that really light shiny one, but I use this Hard Candy Rose Gold highlighter, and I think that looks super pretty too. On my eyes, I'm also wearing Hard Candy. I felt like a quad. This is the Bare shade of the Moods Monochrome Shadows, so it's just giving me, you know, an eye look that I thought would look okay with any lip product I put on. But it's kind of bronzy and just real easy to use always. And then I used my Lace Shadow Sticks in Brown Abyss on the upper lash line, Magnetic Bronze on the lower lash line. My lashes, my upper ones, are this Too Faced ribbon wrapped lash. I just saw this in my drawer and I'm like, you gotta be getting some use out of that because, you know, I've already opened it. Now it needs to be in the rotation more. And then e.l.f. Lash Extender on the lower lashes. And then the lip has just been all of the different Milani ones. The one that I've ended on here, again, is the shade called Lana, and that was that deepest looking one. I think a definite berry. So thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.